Good evening, everybody. Out here in Let's Talk Universe. Tonight is another night of the King's Dream pop up, and tonight we have our special guest, Miss Cynda Williams. Now,
Hi.
and Cynda, I'll let you take it from the stage right here and let everybody know what's up.
Ah, hi. I'm Cynda. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much, King and Q, for inviting me to your platform, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to have you. Been supporters of you for since forever. You stepped on the scene in our eyes as fans of theater, and we know that you have a long history of being in the field. And I just want to ask you about what got you into acting. First and foremost, let's start with that question. What got you into it?
Well, when I was a child, my uncle lived with my family. We all lived together in this great big house on the south side of Chicago. And he lived in the basement. It was a finished basement. I was about 5 years old, and he had all this equipment, keyboards and reel to reels and all this stuff. And he right away, I guess, sensed in me that I could possibly have some talent. So right away, he started working with me, teaching me how to sing, because he was a professional singer at the time. And so that's where I began. I started as a singer. The schools that I went to all had great theater programs. The music program in my elementary school, middle school in Chicago had a phenomenal woman. Her name was Mrs. Waits, and she insisted that if we were going to know how to sing, we had to know how to act. So we started doing theater. You can always tell a performer, a singer that has never acted before, because they're usually not as comfortable in their skin. Unless they're a dancer, that's a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? But a singer that gets on a stage that has no technique and no skills when it comes to interpreting a song or communicating with an audience, you can tell. They're beautiful voices, but they're kind of stiff and boring sometimes. They might have an angelic voice, but if they just standing there and there's no connection with the audience, it's a problem. So she knew this. Mrs. Waits knew this, and so she put us all in acting and plays. My very first play that I remember, besides Jesus Christ Superstar that I did in my church, was The Mikado, which was a what's it called? Operetta. It was an operetta, which is a very difficult operetta. And I did that, and that kind of gave me that itch for acting as well as singing. Although I really never thought that that would end up being my bread and butter. I thought it would always be music. But after doing a little bit of blues, I kind of, at the time, had a choice. Back then, in the 90s, you didn't do both. Way back in the 40s and 50s, you did everything. But then as time went on, there were actors, there were singers, there were rappers, there were this, that, and the other. We were separate. Now you can do everything. So I had to choose. And I didn't particularly love the business of music. It was very dark. And I wasn't trying to go get in some orgies and get high every night, or I just didn't. And in the movie business, though, yes, it can be like that too. It's just a little different, because if you're lucky like I was, you don't have to go to those parties. If you want to be a big star, you probably should. But I cared more about the work than I did about the stardom.
Yeah, so that's very interesting, because you could basically tell us through your movies, your career, the history of cinema alone, and how it has changed. And even now, like you said, you can do so many different things, and dance, sing,
Hmm.
do Broadway, as we would say on the East Coast. And it's like, you know what? I ain't just no daggone somebody that could do Broadway. I can also sing. Let me
Hmm.
let you hear my voice.
Right. Yeah. And that's
So
that's how I was raised. I
Yeah.
did everything. I was a dancer. I was a singer. I was an actress. I was a writer. I directed. I did everything. You know, that's how entrenched I was in it. Yeah. When I did Mo Better Blues, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, where'd she come from?" You know, I'm like, I've been doing this stuff since I was 4 years old. You know, I wasn't a professional until I was in college, but I had been acting my whole life through church. I just happened to have one of them churches. Now a lot of big churches are like this. They have all kind of artistic endeavors for all that's involved, that wants to be involved. Well, my church was like that many years ago. We had dance troupe, we had acting troupe, we had the choir, I had the band, I did the solo stuff. So you know, and I would write. I wrote all the time back then for different kids and groups that were performing with my uncle. He was my primary mentor. And so I did it all. And I expected to do Broadway. That was my plan. I was a musical theater girl. I thought I was going to go to Broadway. And then everybody kept saying, you ought to audition for Spike Lee's new movie. Never thought about movies, never wanted to do movies, didn't even watch movies. And I loved movies. I loved it once I started that.
Wow. Wow. So that speaking of Mo Better Blues is where, as we'd say, most people that don't really know you got to know you. How did that role change who everybody thought you were?
Oh gosh, yes. It's been an ongoing battle. I'm gonna tell you that because I'm telling you, it's all but ruined almost every relationship I've ever been in because it took me a long time to start dating. I was a church girl, you know what I mean? I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't date. I didn't do none of that, okay? I was too busy acting and singing and praying and preaching and all the things that I was doing. And I had a very specific, unique way of, my vocals are pure. I have a very pure sound. I didn't do the runs, even though I was in the gospel choirs. I didn't do that. But I was not a jazz singer at all. Never sang jazz, never listened to jazz
Okay.
because I was listening to gospel, you
Mm.
know, and I had an eclectic taste. Um, but then I did Mo Better Blues, and all of a sudden I was that sexy girl that sings jazz. And first of all, sexy I was never. Okay, I am a tomboy. I mean, literally jeans, t-shirts, makeup. I don't wear makeup. I still don't. I got some lips on. I don't wear makeup. Okay. Unless I'm doing a photo shoot or a movie or a project or something. Right now, I have nothing on my face because I just don't like it. I like natural stuff. And I've been blessed with some good skin. Thank you, mommy and daddy. Um, so I can do that. But everybody wanted Clark. Everybody wanted that woman. Everybody dreamt of that woman and fantasized about that woman and equated me to her. And I'm nothing like her.
Yeah.
Nothing, you know.
Yeah. That's
So
you
it's
know
it's
that's
not been easy.
that's definitely interesting. And
Mhm,
a lot of people that don't know you personally will probably be like,
mhm,
"Well, I need Clark." No, I'm not that person. That was a character. And
mhm,
speaking of that,
mhm.
I and as well as my cousin, we've been supporters of you for a while. It's funny. I've actually been following you on Facebook since Facebook has been here. So
Wow.
I have seen it's a couple actors that I follow, and it's very interesting. It's those two actors, you as one of them, are very personal and very accessible, as they would
Mhm,
say. So to see you now doing your podcast, as
mhm.
someone who does a podcast as well as my cousin, speak about that. Like, what got you to do a radio show, podcast, be out there intermingling, as they say, with the people?
Well, I'm a tourist girl, so I'm a very introverted person for the most part. I can I've learned how it took, I mean, I was in my late 20s when I finally learned how to talk to people. Unless I was on a stage, it took some time, but I figured it out. I had to, because I was in the business, and part of it is, talking to people, networking and things like that. What was I talking about? But
Your radio show.
oh yeah. So anyway, I always wanted to write. Always wanted to write. And when I brought my daughter back, we left LA because I just didn't want to raise my daughter in a place where she came home from preschool talking about being fat. And that was like the final straw for me. I was like, I can't raise my kid here. I don't want, she's a gorgeous, beautiful child, and people are already tripping on the way she looks. I don't want a superficial child. So I brought her home, and I walked away from my career for a while. I did. I do little parts here and there, but I started hearing right. It was like my inner spirit, God, angels, ancestors, somebody was telling me to write. And it was getting on my nerves. So I was like, okay, I'm going to. And I started blogging. And then came the book. I wrote a book called Pink Panty Confessions, which is memoirs and insights and poetry. And then it like branched off from there, all kind of things. But when COVID hit, I had, I think, 5 movies slated for that next year. I had a series, and I had 2 concerts.
Wow.
And it all went away. I was like, this is my year. I was so excited. I was like, this is the year. It all went away because my daughter, she was going to college. I was like, I'm free. I can get back to me. And then everything went away. So I was talking to my cousin, who thinks kind of outside the box. She's been in the business before, and she's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't freaking know. I got to do something. I wasn't unhappy about being at home. I love being at home. But I was like, I can't. She's like, podcast. I was like, girl, Black people don't know nothing about no podcast. Because back then we hadn't really started diving into it yet. Yeah. And I'd been listening to podcasts for years. She's like, then teach them about podcasts. I was like, good idea. So I started researching it, and I found Anchor, and it was so easy to do, to put together. And so I basically took a line from my book, Pink Panty Confessions, had to change it to PPC because too many dirty ass men, excuse my language, I hope I can cuss, too many men thinking in with their draws instead of, they assumed panties had to be the underwear, and it was about some sex stuff. And pink panties is actually a drink. And my girls used to get together, and we'd have pink panties and talk. So that's where it came from. And so I started doing a podcast like that. And by then people were starting to trust me with their stories, so I could get interviews. And my thing is, I'm also from a therapeutic background. I'm a hypnotherapist. I have not practiced much because I really became one for myself because I did movies, and people would always come to me with their issues and their problems, and I needed some skills. So I went back to school so I could help people, but I didn't want to leave my business. And so my platform is a self-help platform. And so it's a way for me to use the acting and the notoriety that I have to help people. And I believe that everybody's story can serve someone, can feed someone. So I'm very fortunate. I can have all kind of folks, literally, like, King is coming on. He's a poet. Last week I had a guidance counselor. I have a filmmaker. I have all kind of people. I had a politician. Because literally everybody has gone through some kind of struggles and have survived. And so you tell me how you survive. I'm even seeking having children that are precocious and can speak for themselves on my show. I want elders on my show. Nice. Because everybody can help somebody. And so it goes hand in hand with my upbringing. I was raised to serve people, and entertainment can serve. It can help people quite a bit. But if you get too caught up in it, it becomes very self-serving and all about your ends and your fame and people loving you, right? I I love people, but I don't care if they like me. You know what I'm saying? So I need to do something that's going to help people, and that's what I've been doing.
One of the things
What's up.
when you describe your background, and King, I don't want to dog the interview. I definitely let you and Cinda speak. One of the things that you talked about with your background and your uncle, everybody growing up in a big house, so you were basically used to everybody meeting in one room, talking, games. You know, you grew up on the south side of Chicago, so I can only imagine the stories, learning the history, and then seeing how the black family definitely went away from that discussion and the family, the camaraderie with the family, and they're bringing it to podcast and like, look, let's get together, y'all. Let's have a
Hmm.
conversation. And I can see where that would be like a love of yours and really be passionate.
Hmm. Hmm. It's when people, especially people of color, can find a way to talk to each other and communicate. I mean, really communicate, we can heal. You know, we've lived in the shadows and with secrets for a very long time, and almost embarrassed about who we are and how we feel. And we have to start talking to start healing. And you know, like I met this lady who I met this lady who had a horrific life in the beginning. She ended up doing wonderful things, but she was not the type of person to share her story. But she talked to me. She talked to me and told me this very difficult story that made her life very, you know, she was very vulnerable.
Wow.
And that's what I feel is so necessary, because she might not be able to talk to a huge group of people, but she can listen in and she can say, oh, okay, somebody else has been through that. And somebody else has been through that. I'm not alone in the situation. So,
One of the uh, one of the things I wanted to ask you was I saw a video of you and I thought it was amazing. I think that if more women was to see it, it would be, as they say, a viral moment. And it was your plain Jane video.
ah, hmm.
And you know it was really like, look, I'm one of it's okay to be plain Jane. It's nothing wrong with being plain Jane. Like you said, I'm beautiful and you guys are beautiful. Even if you wear makeup, you're beautiful. And I think that a lot of definitely our younger women don't realize like you're beautiful in who you are, regardless of what society tries to make what beauty is. And I really think that was a excellent video.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying this new experiment. You know, I was on TikTok for a long time before I actually used it. And I think it was my daughter who was like, Mom, what are you doing with TikTok and you don't use it? What's wrong with you? So I was like, oopsie, you're right. More work. So I was like, okay, well, how can I start reaching people in a different way? And I also have other plans for YouTube. I want to do something different for YouTube, working with somebody on that. But and it actually kind of reminds me of something you said. We can talk offline about it. It's kind of funny. But yeah, to be able to in 1 minute, I'm trying to keep it at 1 minute, get something across so people can think about things in a different way, you
Mhm.
know. But I learned very early on that you can't teach by talking. Really, you can teach by living. You can teach by being. So when I talk, I try not to talk from the point of view of you need to do this and you need to do that. I say, this is me. I do this and I learned that. And then if someone can receive from that, they can. And if they can't, that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? But you can't teach by talking. You know, words don't teach, actions do, you know.
Okay.
I agree with that.
King.
Yeah, so when did you start your poetry? What
Oh,
got you involved?
I probably started poetry when it came to writing first. You know, I was always more of a poet than a lyricist, because I'm too wordy. I use a lot of words. And so I've been working on my lyrics because I write lyrics also. People will send me beats and I'll put word melodies and lyrics to it. But I've had to really work on myself because I'm very visual, or sensual is a better word in my writing. I try to use all the senses when I'm writing. And so poetry was probably one of the earliest things I wrote because I didn't know how to talk to people. I was very, very, very shy. Like I said, you put me on a stage, you would never know it. But when I left the stage, I go in a corner and read a book. So my throat chakra, if you're into that, was very closed off. And matter of fact, I got very ill. I almost passed away right after Mobeto Blues
Oh, wow.
from thyroid. They thought I had
Mm.
cancer, but it was really bad. And because this was all blocked up, because I never talked. I never talked about anything. So poetry was my way to start breaking through that and communicating. Though for very many years, I never shared what I wrote with people, but I wrote poetry. I don't know, at least in my preteens, I started.
Excuse me. Oh, okay. That's what's up. Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel you on that. Not really speaking and being kind of shy a little. Some people wouldn't think that about me, but I am kind of like reserved back. But
Mhm.
since doing the poetry corner and stuff, I became a little more open with
Mhm.
writing poetry. But
Mhm.
do you have a poem with you that you would like to share with everyone?
Well, we have a choice because I have one that's kind of attached to a song. So it's a song that I wrote for my daughter when she was born, and a poem that I wrote with it. I can do that, or I have one that's a little bit more risque, and it's straight spoken word. So,
The stage is yours. Do as
oh,
many as you like.
okay.
You know,
So I'll start with the poem, the straight poem.
okay.
Can I curse on here?
The stage is yours.
Okay. This one's called I Know You Love Me as I Am, Baby. She laughs in his face as she sees the look in his eyes. Then she walks out the door. See you later, lover. I'm going to the store. But you know she won't be back until about 4 a.m. Violet cheeks glowing red as she whispers, I know you love me as I am, baby. I know you love me as I am. She falls into a deep sleep. Oh, so satisfied. Why are you still there, my brother, laying by her side? Does she love you if she don't treat you like a man? Like a man? Don't make love no more like she used to. Longing, feeling, showing, sharing. Now she just stares at you, smiling that frozen smile, going through the motions, 'cause you pay the bills. Spending every single solitary dime. She squeezes and squeezes until you cry, my love. You don't know why, my love. You hurt inside, my love, until you roll up in a ball and die, my love, and die. She don't love you if she don't treat you like a man, like a man. You know she don't and never will. So get on up and get on out before it's too late. I say, man up, get out that deathbed, jump in that Mercedes Benz and dump that witch. Or stay right there and love that cheating bitch. Okay.
Well, damn.
Excuse me. I
So
have to
that's
add. I have
sure.
to ask.
Uh-huh.
What inspired you to write that piece?
I happen to have male friends that are awesome. And I have had more than a few male friends that are so sweet and wonderful, loving, good men that happen to attract bitches. And I know that's not a nice word, but sometimes there are people that act like that, and there can be some men ones too. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
this could
real.
go either way. You
Right.
know, it's that whole cuckold vibe that I cannot stand. And one of my friends was dealing with this woman, and I was just tired. And one day we were vibing, they were playing. I was in his band, and he was playing, and they were playing this music, and I just started spouting this. This was off the top of my dome. I just
Yeah.
spouted it out, and they were recording. So
Oh,
I cleaned
wow.
it up a little bit, but this was freestyle for me.
That's what's up.
Hmm. So
Inspiration, motivation. That was real nice. I love that piece. I mean, it
thank
was it,
you.
wa- it was real. I mean, word.
Thank you. And then I
So
have one more. This one is the one that's kind of like a song. I'm gonna sing it. I'm gonna try to be lighter. I haven't sung in a while, but this I wrote for Sophia Gabrielle, my baby girl.
okay.
When I look into your eyes, I see blue stars lit by. When I feel your warm embrace, I thank him the Most High, 'cause now I know what love's about, 'cause now I know its face. Come with me for all time. Be with me always. Come and hold your hand in mine in nighttime and my days. 'Cause now I know what love's about. 'Cause now I know its face. The doctor smiled, gave me my child. Then I met God's grace. I never knew that I was blue until I saw your face. I couldn't feel, nor did I heal, and I would not admit it. I didn't know I had a hole until you came and filled it. The sun burned bright, the moon at night, all came to life with you. You were my world, my lovely girl. You were my true breakthrough. So I will aim to do the same, be mother and your friend. So for a start, I'll give you my heart. I'll love you to the end. Come with me for all time. Be with me always. Come and hold your hand in mine in nighttime and all days. 'Cause now I know what love's about. 'Cause now I know its face. Now I know what love's about. 'Cause now I know its face. It's you, my dear.
Mm. Give me
Wow.
applause. I know. Give me applause on that one.
Thank you, thank
Very nice. Very nice.
you.
But being that you said that nice, beautiful, songy poem, I'm going to recite the poem that I sent to you the other day, titled To the Queens. My dedication to you, queens, who move around in different scenes, appreciating what you bring by many means, a lot of things. Strong woman holding court within pure righteous state. As a king, I see your face and how you love to demonstrate. Beautiful and sexy, nothing unpretty and ugly, conducting yourself lovely, even humorous and funny. Grounded by the basis of your heart, mind, and soul, knowing what you know, keeping control while on the go. Adapt to environments where the world can be cold. Precious woman, never fold, you fought too hard to reach your goal. Facing challenges of the sexes within society's solar plexus, after working so hard, please know where your rest is. King.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that. I love that. Mhm.
Let me ask you real quick. You have what days are your podcasts on? What day do they do download your podcast to Anchor and other?
It's released on Friday. Friday at noon Eastern, I drop them. But once they're dropped, they're there. So if anybody Spotify, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcast, it's on I don't know, a whole bunch of different podcasts. The primary one that people use is Spotify, I think. But it drops every Friday, sorry, at noon, and then it's there.
And that is PPC radio for everybody that don't know. And
Well,
I was
actually, can I correct you? That's
oh yeah, go
PPC,
ahead.
my PPC podcast.
Okay.
But what I do is when it comes out on Friday, then the following Wednesday, I do a live radio show with my co-host DJ Kid Disco and Shelly Shell Williams. They're from Philadelphia, and we have that same guest on, and we talk more. And it's typically a different kind of experience because we are loud and crazy and fun. So it sways, it goes in and out of serious, but it's also fun, and we have different segments.
So
So
that's very interesting. I think that's real nice because, like you said, the podcast is like the appetizer to the main course, and then when Wednesday come rolling around, you could really
exactly.
undress it in more of a formal. Even though it's live, it's more formal. It's more like you said, fun, even if it is a serious issue.
Hmm.
But
Exactly.
I was thinking when you were talking earlier about the title, Pink Panties Confession, and you being raised in the background that you have. And like you said, everybody just assumes all of a sudden that it's something provocative, but it is a drink. And I thought that was interesting. And how you always got to tell people like, it's not
Yeah.
provocative at
Yeah.
all. Not all.
It's peach
Don't.
lemonade and vodka,
Yeah.
guys.
Don't
But
tune in thinking you're gonna hear some crazy stuff or
exactly. But when I wrote the book, I felt like I had to add something provocative. I don't unfortunately have the book with me. I wrote a poem called Pink Panties, and it was actually about underwear.
oh my goodness. Uh, I can just imagine how many people would be like, "You wrote what? You just." So where can we purchase your book at?
Oh, you can purchase it wherever books are sold. You can it's in on the Kindle version or Audible, or I'm sorry. The you know, we I don't remember what I'm talking about. Barnes
The-
and Nobles,
Okay.
Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. You can read it on a Kindle. But recently, like 2 weeks ago, I just put out it's called the PPC Experience.
Hmm.
Two friends of mine, Donald Draft Jr. and Johnny Whiteside, who are also in New Jersey. Um, we came together and they created music inspired by my book. So I don't read the whole book. I just read excerpts from the book, and then I explain more in more detail what I was writing about, where the stories came from. And then I sang a little bit, did some acapella stuff. And then there's also a song that I did with the guys on there. And that is wherever you can get your Audible versions of things, including Audible. It's called the PPC Experience. So check it out.
Oh, that's what's up.
Great.
Go out there and cop that.
Get it.
Go get it. Support. I mean,
And we really appreciate you joining us tonight. This
we
is
definitely
definitely
do.
a pleasure. As I can speak for myself, it's been a pleasure. I know King feels the same sentiment.
Definitely.
That you were able, and you guys will be collaborating and doing something together.
Yeah, y'all got to check him out when he comes on my platform, PP Stack.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna throw it out there to the world, let them know what's going on. You know what I mean?
I always ask poets questions that are very, I would say, interesting, just to get their gauge on how they feel about their art. But being that you're an actress, an author, I mean, you're all over. Your footprint is all over the art stratosphere, as they would say. I want to ask you a question. Does art imitate life, or life imitate art?
I think it's all a question of creativity. We are constantly creating 100% of the time. Every time we open our mouth, every time we have a thought, we are moving towards a new creation. And the question is the creation the same one you created before? Or are you evolving in that creation? So art and life mirror each other. They do mirror each other. I've had some experiences in my life that I've never seen on TV because they're too awful and they're too disturbing. And if I wrote those stories and put them on the screen, people would be like, oh, that couldn't happen to someone, you know? So life can be very theatrical and very dramatic and very funny. So I think it's one and the same. Life does imitate art, and art does imitate life. Yes.
Great. Good answer on that. Good answer. Well, I have a special request to ask you. Do you mind shooting everybody some acapella of Harlem Blues?
Sure. Now, mind you, I sang that song and recorded that song 32 years ago, and I had a very different voice then. I was a baby. And so my voice, I actually have a very wide range. But back then I was straight up second or first soprano. So I'll find a key and I'll do a little bit of it.
Well, I thank you very much.
Okay. You can never tell what's in a man's mind. And if he's from Harlem, there's no use of even trying. Just like the tide, his mind comes and goes. Like March weather when he'll change. Nobody knows the man I love. Well, he just turned me down. He's a Harlem Brown. Oft times I wish that I were in this ground, 6 feet underground. He analyzed me as no other could, no. Then he surprised me, leaving me a note saying he was gone for good. And since my sweetie left me hollow, well, it ain't the same old place. Though 1,000 dandies smile right in my face, I think I'll mooch some homemade hooch and go out for a lark, just to drive off these mean old Harlem blues. There you go.
Thank you very, 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 very much. Greatly appreciated. One of my favorite songs. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's good.
I told my cousin I've written quite a few poems. Just
Mm-hmm.
catching the vibrations of you singing that song. It's been like an inspiration. Cause go on a show called Love Zone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the Epiphany Network. So when I need to catch inspiration, I'm like, that's my go-to song. The vibes and everything. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I start writing, boop, it's done.
It's
I
there. It's
tell
there.
you, that was one of my favorite parts of doing that project
Yeah.
was recording that song. Um, the whole everybody was all the musicians were there because we did multiple versions. We did the
Oh,
strings version, we did the
mm,
the band version, and honestly a lot of people don't know it, and I don't think anybody ever heard it. We did like a pop version of the song.
Mm.
I,
um
I heard a couple of versions on YouTube because that's how I got in touch with you. I was listening. I was like, yo, I said, she doing this, she doing that. I said, wow. So I was just listening to you sing and use with other people. And I was just like, so that's when I reached out to you on and I was
mhm.
like, let me see what's going on.
Yeah, it was so much fun, and standing there next to Wynton Marsalis and
Yes.
Terrence Blanchard and all these freaking masters. And at the time, they were still kind of up and coming too. Although Marsalis family was very well known, and he was already a star. They were still very young,
Yeah.
and to be in the presence of all these talking about vibrations. Oh my God, the
I think that
vibrations, it was like literally could feel it. Every strum of the string, you could feel everything. And
Yeah.
that when he was playing that saxophone and the trumpet, and it was like, oh Lord.
Your
I
voice is
think it
so
I think
powerful,
it I
you
think that
know?
it resonates. The
Mhm.
reason why this song, even to today, for those that remember the movie as younger people, whatever, it resonates because it's cultural. It speaks to the stories that if you're not from Harlem, what you heard, whether you was ever there, like this was literally the capital for Black America. I'm not being biased, but that's what their elders told us. So it was like the song is timeless.
Yes.
Truly timeless. And you singing it is timeless as well. I mean, I don't think too many people can really try to even sing it. I mean, we haven't heard too many covers of it.
Nah.
Yeah, I've had people send me their covers of it, which is always cool. And it's on karaoke, so people sing it on karaoke all the time. And I love hearing the different versions. As a matter of fact, I did this show at the I can't remember the name of the theater. It's a big theater in Chicago. And there was multiple plays happening at the time. I was in a straight play, and then somebody was doing a musical. And this guy, one of the leads in the show, he found me. He's like, "Oh my God, I sing your song. I sing your song." And he started singing it for me, and he blew my mind. It was so beautiful to hear this man sing this song, and he tore it up, baby. He tore it up. So
Wow.
that only thing that kind of hurts me is, as much as I love the song, I really hope before I'm done, I get to do at least one other song that resonates like that for people again. I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. I really don't. So
Mm-mm.
say some prayers for me. I'm trying to work on some stuff to get to do
Well,
some
trust
more
me, if
recording.
if anybody truly supports you and watch what you're doing, you are far from a one hit wonder.
Mm-mm.
I actually was shocked you did a movie with Diane Carroll.
Oh yeah, that was a great.
and
That
and
was
and it,
fun.
and it blew me away because I didn't even know it, and I'm looking like, hold up, you sure this ain't no mistake? And I'm like, wow, she did something with Diane Carroll, and I think that we sometimes, when you look at a person like Diane Carroll, the greats who have passed the tradition down, we sometimes don't realize like we still got legends around. I
Right.
think that for a certain generation, you are a legend. You are somebody. You got over 30 years in screen. I mean, too many people ain't got that. Too many
I'm
people
very
can't
blessed.
do like you said. too many people can't sing, perform, act at the same time. So you're able to sometimes look at somebody as talent and be like, they got it. They got it. They got the trifecta where we could help them and guide them along the way or being somebody. And I think that with what's going on now with us in this country, like we need to hold on to people like you, hold on to our elders,
Mhm.
and give you guys your flowers now and really
That's right.
understand what you have done in your footprint of Black America, Black cinema, and all the things that you've done for us. And we truly appreciate
Oh,
Definitely.
thank you.
I
Thank you so
thank you.
much.
I thank you very much and appreciate you very much. I've listened to other songs you sang on YouTube and stuff. I follow
Mm.
you on TikTok too and stuff. I was like, she still got the pipes. That's what
Mhm.
had me reach out to my cousin. I said, she can still sing. I said,
you.
I saw her. I heard it. He was like, yeah. I said, yeah, I'm gonna reach out to her. I said, I'm
Do
gonna
you
take it.
know there are so many people that think that I lip synced the song?
Yeah,
Well, you know what? I did technically lip sync the song because back in those days they didn't have the equipment, the sound equipment yet to for it to work on to sing live. It
uh-huh.
just sounded too different. So I was actually up there singing it on the stage out loud so the audience could hear me,
Yeah.
but I had to match my own recording of
Oh
the song.
wow.
But many, many people still today say, "That was you?" I was like, my name was all up on there. Golly, y'all. Can't read?
Uh,
Well, we
but
want you
like,
to know we really appreciate you coming on, and like I said, thank you. It's been an honor for you to come on, and we look forward to hopefully you coming back on soon.
Sure.
Like I said, you have a bunch of projects like going on, and hopefully those projects that got put back during the Big C will come back into fruition for you.
Well, some of them did. Actually, I think all but one did. And the one that didn't, I pray does because it was one thing that I've noticed as I've gotten older, the roles that I'm getting and the scripts that are coming to me now are phenomenal.
mm,
I'm really getting ready to, or I can really work because
yeah, that's what's up.
I
I'm
played
happy
some
for you.
great roles, but the meat is there now. I'm
Yeah,
very excited, and
That's what's up.
I really hope that I get a chance, especially the one that hasn't happened yet. It was supposed to happen this summer, and I don't know everything this summer. What happened during COVID happened this summer too. I had 6 gigs, all fell out. Every one of them, the economy has made it very difficult for
yeah.
independent
Mm,
film. So, but it'll happen when it's supposed to in God's
that's
time.
right.
That's right.
Mhm.
Divine timing. You right about that.
Mhm.
King, you want to close out, sir?
Yes. I'd like to thank everybody out there in Let's Talk Universe for tuning in tonight. And here we have Miss Cynda Williams. So, as I always say on the Poetry Corner, peace, love, and happiness. And we out here. Just hang on for Miss Cynda. After we close out, we're gonna talk backstage. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.